people are having that kind of tools too.
Yeah, they do.
What are you trying to figure out what you were trying to get across?
What's great about social media is there are no boundaries in terms of what you can put out there. Whether you are 80 years old, you're from India, you speak English as a third language, it doesn't matter. What's great about social media is that for people who have a disadvantage, such as somebody who might not be able to hear, it levels the playing field. You can jump in there and interact in ways that you might not be able to do face to face.
And remember, there are 800 million Facebook users. So and those 800 millions are those people under the umbrella that you don't know who they are. So it's an equal playing field around the world.
What other questions can we answer? I saw other hands go up.
We're hearing a lot about the positives of social media. But here in Harrisburg, at the local hospital, there was a situation where employees were posting information online and they were terminated because of their misuse of social media. One thing I was wondering if you could talk about is a little bit about the fact that do some employers look at your Facebook profiles? When and how is that used in the hiring process? That's something I wanted to crack.
I'm very glad that you brought this up. When I was talking earlier about Facebook and being careful what you post, this is critical. Just because it's on your personal Facebook page, or just because you posted it 6 months ago, doesn't mean it's not out there. I just spoke with a class yesterday from PAC, and one of the things that I told them is that when I'm looking for somebody, I'm an employer, when I'm looking for employees, I Google the name of some of the people that give me resumes. And if the first thing that pops up is a list of parole violations, I typically put that resume in the trash. Same thing happens with Facebook. If I see their Facebook profile and they've got a picture of a beer and they're smiling, I'm going to think twice. Now, technically, there are a lot of laws that are coming into place about that now. In fact, Hack Campus is going to be changing the way that you look for employees and that you cannot Google their name. But there are still a lot of companies out there that are looking online to see what you've got going on. So it's really important that you Google yourself every once in a while and see what's popping up. One resource I'm going to give you, it's called google.com/alerts. It's Google Alerts. You can put your name in there and anything else that might relate to you or a potential type of business that you want to get into. And any time that you'll show up on Google, you'll be alerted. You'll get an email. And it's a great way to keep track of what's being said about you and what's going on. Your online persona is very important. So be careful what you're saying online, especially if you're being negative or derogatory or inappropriate.
And just to add on to it, if you look at a lot of companies' websites nowadays, they're all coming up with a social media policy, and that policy defines how they let their current employees, use social media in the workplace. It also defines how they potentially look at potential employees that they're going to hire and how they sort of leverage social media with them. So it's always good to go on the website and look for that social media policy, or just call the company up, or send them an email asking them about, do you have a social media policy? And a lot of them are doing it now, so it's a pretty common sort of thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I did Google Rachel and saw good stuff about it, so couldn't complain.
Whenever you are working for a company, you have to be careful what you're saying online. even beyond even after you have that job, because companies will terminate you if you're representing them you work for them and you have a really bad rap. So you have to be very careful.
Yeah, companies tend to think that you work for them 24/7, and so even though you're not between 8 and 5, and if you say something after hours, they still take you as a representative of the company, and and this is critically important part from an education perspective, because I'm essentially working in education sector where this is a common thing. Teacher says something after school, should they be liable for it? Should they get fired for it? They said it after school. It wasn't when they were in school. It was after school. But they're still a teacher, and they should still maintain some sort of personality. And a lot of schools and a lot of educational institutions look at this sort of stuff. And it's the same with employers. They do the same thing. They look at it. They treat you as a 24/7 employee, even though you only work 8 to 4 or 8 to 5.
Other questions?
I have a question. I want to add to what, I'll go ahead and sign and show voice for me. Stand. You guys are doing a great job with your presentation tonight. Thank you so much. One thing is interesting, I just wanted to add. I read an article that people need to be careful what they say, but people also are making negative comments, like on Facebook or Twitter, and companies are very sensitive about that, because when they see negative comments that go out, other people are like, oh, that's so true, that did happen to me too. So now many companies have a certain department established for social media alone, like for Twitter and Facebook. And if they find any negative comments about that company, that they will report it and help to find solutions to mitigate the issue. And maybe it's a 15-minute situation, not waiting the next day. They'll apologize to whoever wrote something negative, give them a gift certificate to keep them quiet. So then that individual will go online and say, oh, this company's fantastic, they've changed their tune because they've been gifted.
I've done it. And it not negatively saying something about a company, but complain about a service.
Yes.
Maybe my internet service was down once, and I complained how I've been having trouble with Comcast every day. It's not even worth paying for it. And I had a Comcast representative tweet me back saying, how can we help you?
Yes. Very
yes.
powerful.
So the other part that I didn't share the story, but are all of you aware of Craigslist? I was at a conference once, and Craig Newmark, who's the founder of Craigslist, he was talking, and I tweeted something to him, and then later on he tweeted me back. And the interesting part was I was on cloud 9, because it was like, famous person just talked to me online. And so the interesting part was that I went up to in a gathering after after he was done talking. I went up to him and I started a conversation. It might seem a little odd, but I started a conversation saying, "Hi, I'm Jidru Patel. You tweeted me you just replied to my tweet," and we sort of started a conversation. And anyone can do that, Me from middle of cornfields, near Hershey, was able to do that. So that's the advantage, and I think that's the fascinating part about it.
Mm-hmm.
But to go along with I think everyone in here has the advantage of becoming a social media, we'll put it a social media manager, because it's beyond disability. That's not a challenging part in social media. And so you can be one of those people in a company doing the social media for a company, sort of managing their brand in a way that, it positively reflects what people are saying. So, I mean, it's a good point that a lot of people do that. A lot of people take advantage of it because it's a marketing. You're essentially marketing your company whenever someone posts negative on there. It's negative marketing.
Yes.
People are going to read that, share that. So, it's good if you build a community that if you have a problem with something, you can say it, and then there'll be a community that backs it, and the company might change their policy because of that. Good question.
One more thing. You were talking about marketing for the brand of the company. I think that's important because, we're all busy. We have children, we have families. How do you manage your time with your online things and all of these other things in life? How do you use that efficiently? What is your suggestion?
That's my job, so I understand. A lot of business owners hire somebody like me to manage their social media because they don't have the time. One thing I can say is when you're starting out on social media channels, set time aside, about 15 minutes in the morning and maybe 15 minutes at night. Just getting started, set some time aside, like you would if you were going to work out or do anything else that you put in your planner. You'll start to find as your community grows that you'll be weaving social media in and out of your day. It'll just become a natural part of what you do. When you think about cell phones, originally people didn't want cell phones because it would interrupt them anywhere they were. Now, I don't know how I would be without my cell phone. It's the same thing with social media. As you start to get used to it, you'll weave it in and out of your day, and you'll find that it will replace some of the things that you might have done before. For me, I multitask. I'm on the treadmill while I tweet. I am on my phone when I'm waiting for somebody. I do a lot of different things at one time. If I'm on a conference call, I'm also on my internet, so probably not the best way to go, but you'll find your own way through it. Just set small time aside and small goals for yourself, and you'll start to see how it will weave in and out of your day.
Thank you so much.
Can I say one more thing? I have cards that I can give everybody. If you would like to connect with me and ask me any questions over email or on social media, I'd be happy to help you with anything that you need.